Welcome back to the Course Creation Incubator. I'm Gina Onativia, online course coach and consultant, here to get you excited about creating and marketing your online course. Part of my vision for this podcast is to introduce you to other course creators who are working on their own programs and see how they work to get it done. I wanted to bring on Talya Lutzker, the creator of Ayurveda Every Day with Talya and a star student of mine. Talya is an Ayurvedic lifestyle and nutrition expert and a prolific course creator. Talya was part of my course mastermind that I used to host a few years ago. I would work with a small group of course creators for a year, helping them scale their businesses. I got to work with Talya as we rejiggered her customer path, creating a starter course with her that can lead to seasonal cleanses that she does every year with her Ayurvedic students. You're going to hear us talk about Talya's approach to her course creation, how she makes it work for her, and how she stays in touch with what her course students really want. She is, in my opinion, an amazing example of how a practitioner or an expert or coach can integrate courses into your overall business. Okay, let's listen in. Talya, welcome to the Course Creation Incubator podcast. I am so excited to have you on. Welcome, welcome.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited.
So good to hear your voice. Okay, so many questions I want to ask you. Let's start with the fact that you have created so many amazing online courses over the years. And I want you to talk about how you approach each new online course. Like, I know you're kind of a fan of the post-it exercise.
That's an understatement. So, okay, but my very first course, I did not know you yet.
Right.
And actually, my very first course, like official course, was nourishment school. And that was because I was, it was taught to me as a business model, like you do a summit and then afterwards people get to know you through a 3-part video series, and then you sell an expensive year-long course.
Right.
Number one, so that you don't have to sell more than once a year, but also so that you really build out a signature process. And that model did not work for me, but one of the main reasons, and this is what led me to work with you and learn how to really create courses like as a professional course creator, is that I have so much knowledge, just so much knowledge. I mean, that's just the way I am. As a collector of knowledge and then wanting to give what I know and give what I've learned. But I really didn't know how to put the content together so that it was like a journey for my clients and for my customers. And so even though most of my students in nourishment school had a good experience, there were a couple of people who really didn't, and their feedback, and I'll be honest, criticism, really, really impacted me, because I knew that I was missing a type of knowledge. Like, I'm not, I've never trained as a teacher. I'm a yoga teacher,
right.
and sequencing yoga poses is a huge part of being a good teacher. And even that, it's like that has taken me years I'm not even going to call myself a master of that. It's a skill. And so I ended up contacting a friend of mine, who is a teacher and who taught people with disabilities, like students, not, she taught young people who just had a different way of learning than what was taught in public school. And so she could really tutor them basically and help them make sense of it. So she helped me figure out ways to sort of outline a big picture concept for a course. And that was very helpful. However, it was really and truly, it was not until I met you that I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. And I don't even think we started with the Post-it note method, but that ended up being the most powerful tool that I have in my toolbox as a course creator. I just had the Post-its. I texted you a picture. I just had the Post-its on my armoire 2 months ago for the mini course that I'm working on right now. And oh my God, I'm just obsessed with the way that the Post-it note exercise leads you through a journey but really helps you take all of your knowledge on this one topic or subject and make sense of it and put it into a framework that your students can consume and get so much out of. I mean, I think that's what I'm doing. I hope that's what I'm doing.
I think that's exactly what you're doing, and I think that you're not unique, like in that you're an incredible expert. What do you do with all this knowledge, and how do you break it down in a way that leads to that transformation, into that journey? And one of the things I love about you, and I'm going to probably say that 13 times this episode, is that every time you do a course, a program, anything new for your business, you get those post-its out. So you mentioned that you're working on this, right? You're working on this mini course, and it just shows the value of going through that exercise each and every time and knowing the journey, as you call it, right? The transformation that you're providing.
Each and every time. And it's really cool too, because I literally follow your post-it note method to a T. So including the part about what my what my video or what my module or my lesson delivers to my ideal client, and what is the value that I'm adding for them with this video. And when I write about that and then sit down to create the script for my video, or what I do everything video, it just really gives me so much clarity of like why I'm teaching this and what about this I really need to teach, because I'm an overgiver, as you know.
Yes,
God,
yes.
big problem. And even I filmed a couple of videos today and had all the, I probably only needed to deliver a quarter of it, and it was still a 20-minute video,
Right.
a 20
Right.
minute lesson. So it's all of the steps of the journey, because as course creators, we already know what our expertise is, or maybe we don't, but we basically have a sense of what we want to teach and what we think we can offer. And then, and you also taught me, like, it doesn't need to be all in one course. Like, that's what I tried to do with Nourishment School, was like, ram it all into this 1 year long course, because if I didn't give absolutely everything I've ever learned or thought of, then I wasn't giving enough value. But what it really did was overwhelmed people, and they ended up, I mean, if any of my Nourishment School students are listening to this, I love you so much and I'm sorry. But I was like shocked at how little I felt like they understood about the topic by the time the year was over. And I was like, this was a year, And so
Yeah.
it showed me that, number one, overgiving is a symptom of just not feeling like you're enough, or like that you don't know enough or whatever. And so that's something I get to work on, underground, and not do in my business, because I do have so much to offer. But like, people need to be able to digest what you give them. I bought a course that I thought was about helping me build a funnel,
Okay.
and it wasn't expensive. I think it was $47. Today I opened it and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't understand one freaking thing. What am I reading? I've got to sit here and watch 3 hours of videos. This was a
Wow.
$47 course. Where's the introduction on
Where's
how
the
to build a
start
sales
here?
page?
Right.
Like, it's just so too much.
Right. And I think that's something that we face, like not only organizing it with the flow, but completely overwhelming our students because we want to over deliver. And there's imposter syndrome in that, right? There's a little bit of just wanting to show up for people, but every time it leaves them, like you said, the Nourishment School students are saying, like, I don't even know what I'm learning right now, because they're in so much overwhelm. And I want to go back to what you were saying about your scripting. I was just talking to our DCA accelerator students today. They're in the midst of scripting. They're feeling some frustrations. How do you work through that? And I said to them, go back to your outline, remember, like, re-anchor yourself to your flow of this course. But do you have some tips for other course creators who get a little frustrated with their scripting, since you're going through it right now?
Yeah, so working with you, Gina, we had that one day where we had a teleprompter, which was the best day of my life.
Yes.
Only if I have a teleprompter do I enjoy reading from a script.
Okay.
It is torture to try to remember my script. If I don't, I could never be an actor, I guess, because I just cannot remember these scripts. So I really, I've got my outline sitting in front of me right now from the course I'm working on right now. I've got the topic of the lesson,
Mm-hmm.
details about what the video details about what I want to share in the video. I know what PDF or downloadable thing is part of this lesson. And then I have a whole paragraph about what this delivers for my student or what the value is and what I'm adding.
Awesome.
So every single module, these are just modules. I don't have it's just one lesson per module.
Okay, because it's a mini course. That makes sense. Yeah.
Right. So what I do is I just pull out a separate piece of paper. I really love Sharpies. So I pull out a colored Sharpie and I literally I might write 2 or 3 different script outlines before I've captured exactly what it is that I really want to deliver. So it takes me another, 15 to 30 minutes probably after I have my outline, which is from the Post-it note exercise for each module, well, in this case, module or lesson, to be like, what am I really going to talk about? What are the key points? And I write them in big words with my colored Sharpie. And when I start my videos, I mean, if you were doing ScreenFlow with slideshows, which is, something I hope to do someday. But since I'm always on video, in the beginning of the video, I introduce myself. I say some stuff that I know I can say.
Right.
Welcome to module 3. I'm so excited you're here. The name of this module is blah, blah, blah. And then I say, I've taken notes because I don't want to forget anything. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. And
Good
then I just feel, I don't look at the notes the whole time.
Right.
But when I need to look down, then I feel like no big deal. And I've never had one single negative comment about it ever.
And
they don't see my notes.
Right.
And
because you pre-frame them, you've given them context, and plus they've just fallen in love with you at that point, Talya too, they don't care.
So.
The student doesn't care because you've been so authentic with them. Right. And then
you
those
also
are triggers
did the homework so that you're really delivering to them what you said you would. Like it's, one thing that is hard for me sometimes, although I opened up DCA today and I'm like, I'm going back to DCA because in DCA, I'm like, oh, well, here's the sales page template. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
And I've said this to you before, but sometimes watching Amy Porterfield, who every single thing that she puts out is so perfect and polished. I mean, it's like, what? How is this possible? What? And she's been doing it for way longer.
She's really worked at it, right?
And she is who she is.
Yes, and she's a genius, right?
And she's a genius, et cetera, et cetera. So, sometimes I have to get over that, or I do have to get over that because that's not my delivery, even though I work my ass off to be professional and have all my ducks in a row. And I really want my students to feel like this is a seamless professional experience. I'm still where I'm at in my course creator journey. Yep. And if I need to write my scripts out in giant Sharpie letters,
then that's your process.
And look at my thing, then that's my process.
That's you, lady.
It does work for me.
That absolutely works for you. And again, your students love you for that. That is your brand. That is who you are.
That's funny.
Never change that. No, it's true.
I probably won't because it's just really, I don't have a teleprompter and I don't know. I mean, I've written scripts for different things that I've done and I do see the value in them for sure. Like, especially a sales video or something like a 2-minute sales video.
Right.
But for my course, I don't want to be reading a script. For my courses, most of my videos are between 10 to 30 minutes, sometimes even an hour. So I just don't want to do it. Anyway, hopefully that gives somebody who's listening like more freedom to be like, oh, I don't have to read from a script. Although,
Absolutely.
if that's your thing though, then good for you. And especially if you're not on video and you're like on ScreenFlow or slideshow, whatever, like then of course you can read your script. I read my script for my webinar
Sure. Right.
and
I
I
think,
read it 50 times before I deliver the webinar so that I keep inserting what I really want to say. You know what I mean?
yes, I know. I know what you're saying. And I think the lesson here is you do you, right?
You do
So
you.
if you
You do
feel like
you,
you do
girl.
you, girl or boy, whoever's
Or
listening,
boy. Or
uh,
non-binary human
thank you.
being.
There you go. And if it's scripting word for word, great. If it's a red Sharpie, great. If it's slides with like whatever it is, it's beautiful. So, and
It
I think that's,
is. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
As long as you're delivering what you promised and what you feel like is really in your heart for your students.
definitely. One of the things that I also love that you really keep tabs on or a pulse on is what your students are going through. And I think because of that, you can respond in kind with such awesome courses. So, how, and you've got this amazing Facebook group. I have a confession. Talia was really one of the first people to sell me on the power of Facebook groups. Is that how you're really keeping in touch with what your students want? Like you mentioned Amy, I think Amy's really in tune to what people want. How do you keep a pulse on that so you know then what courses to create for them?
I survey my list frequently.
There you go.
And I literally, so one of my courses, Ayurveda Starter School, something, I don't think you know this, because so that's my starter course.
Right.
And I am in the middle of creating a funnel, right, to
Mm-hmm.
sell that course evergreen. And so my intention with that course is like, I want it to be hundreds and hundreds of people, if not
Right.
thousands.
Sure.
And so I've started to offer a live Q&A call every single month. Actually, that's what I was doing right before we jumped onto the podcast. And like so many people show up,
It's
they
awesome.
freaking love it. This is a starter course. It's a less than $300 course, but this is my
That's
bonus.
great value.
And it
Love it.
keeps me in alignment with them.
Right.
I have a Facebook group for them. They ask me questions. I totally get to, and also because I'm so intimate with them, and this is true with my rad cleanse as well. I just did this the other day. I said, you guys, I want to shift because I want to evergreen the rad cleanse, and it's tricky a little
Yeah.
bit for
Yeah.
just exactly how to do it. And so last week I said, hey, you guys, who here would be willing to let me interview you just for like 5 or 10 minutes? And I told them exactly why. And like everybody raised their hand the entire call.
It's
So I have like,
amazing.
over 10 people to contact and interview, and they give me so much. This is how I'm creating even my course, The Practice of Healing, that I haven't released yet, but that I've been working on, from
Mm-hmm.
last summer. Um, yeah, I interviewed like 10 of my rad cleansers who were overjoyed to give me an hour of their time and answer all my questions. And then I even was like, at the end, I was like, and what do you need? And they were like, oh, I need help with my digestion. I'm like, okay, let's talk about it right now. So I gave them, 10 minutes of my time to just help
Talk
them.
about
And
them.
it
Right.
was rad. I got more
Right. You got
information.
more information about what they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
And what they're really in it for. That's amazing. So I'm a big fan of you selling your course through your boot camps, right? And
Yeah.
so the last one was in the spring. Well, how do you have so much success with those? Like, do you recommend boot camps or challenges for other course creators?
I mean, it was the best thing I've done. I think it was the most successful thing I've done for my business. Because I'm a giver, I love delivering a free 5-day boot camp. I'm just like, it feels so generous. I use the post-it note exercise
Mm-hmm.
to design my beautiful boot camps. Right now I have 2, and they're both freaking
They
awesome.
are pretty amazing,
Like
I have to
in
say.
and of in and of themselves,
Yeah.
as like a mini course, essentially,
Yes.
they are really, really, really good. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm proud of that. Like, I feel like I can say that. So it's a list building tool. It's a way to craft your content in like truly, truly beginner bite-sized pieces, leaving people wanting more. Um, And I think this similarly as like, I think summits are meant to position you as an expert in a certain field. And so I
Yeah,
do think that boot camps really do that, or
I agree.
challenges.
Yes.
So I think boot camps and challenges are amazing. Certainly they can really build your Facebook group. I want to do one on Instagram.
I think that would be
Um,
great for you. I love that
yeah,
idea.
I
Yeah.
need to like look into that. But
2021.
2021,
Doing it.
so yeah, it's a list building tool not only for your email list, because you should, if you do it the way I learned, which I learned mine from Devaney Freeman.
Hmm.
I don't know if she still teaches it or not. I think she does, but because it's pretty advanced. I mean, not advanced. It's pretty involved.
Involved. Yeah, there's definitely layers to it. But
There's
I think it
layers.
pays off. I think it pays off.
It does. It
Yeah.
does pay off for sure. And certainly it grew my Facebook group. I think the first time we did it, it grew my Facebook group by 1,500 people. Then it
Yeah.
grew it by 2,000. Then it grew it by another 1,500. So now I'm up to over 6,000 people in my Facebook group. Of course, not everybody looks at it.
Right. But
But it
still.
also grew my email list by about 1,000 people each time as well.
Yeah. I think that's
So
great. The results speak for themselves.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good tool. I love it, and I want to do more of it. But I also like your idea of doing a paid one. So that's what I
Yeah.
want to look into also.
Okay. I want you to definitely look into that. So, Talia, we could talk for hours.
We
I don't want
could.
to, I know we could, but let me ask you one final question. And that you mentioned this earlier about being an expert, right? You know all things Ayurveda. Why do you think
I know
being
a
an
lot of
expert
things.
like yourself or a coach, it's so important to have an online course? Because I know people listening right now might be in a little bit of fear or trepidation around like it's work. How do I know it's going to happen for me? How do I know like I can build this? How do I know I can sell it? So what do you say to folks like in your position who have been thinking about building a course?
Okay, so first of all, I have been an Ayurvedic practitioner for 18 years. I was already leading a course, although through yoga studios and just through email for 10 years. And so when
Wow.
I
Yeah.
learned, I didn't even like know that having an online business was an option for me until 2015. And I didn't get serious about it until 2016. At
Hmm.
that point, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so easy. And that's what a lot of business coaches are selling you too. Like, this
Hmm.
will be easy. I will show you how. And I, as Gina knows, I feel this way. It's not easy for everybody. And I think like you have to really have a product that your audience wants and needs. Your
Yep.
audience has to know that you have it. There's a
Yep.
lot of things. So, but I also see the value of perseverance
Yep.
and being like, maybe if you don't have a lot of income to invest in creating your online course, like create it on a shoestring and figure it out and use your
Absolutely.
own time to, which I wish I had done more of this, because now I'm so dependent on tech VAs and stuff because I don't know how to do anything. Whatever, it's a journey. But, to really be like, do the studying and figure it out and like build foundation. And if you believe that you have something that people need, then you should absolutely be delivering that and putting that into the market. And the other thing I want to say is there is a woman I am absolutely obsessed with online. She has two courses.
Okay.
I've already taken them both. She's not available for one-on-one coaching.
Hmm.
And I'm so frustrated because I'm like, make something else. I need more. I want more. And I'm
Right.
like, what is taking you so long? So like, and I'm sure that she is working on stuff, but it takes time. But I mean, when you have a fan,
Hmm.
they want more from you.
More
When
from
you're
you.
really speaking to your audience, they want to learn from you. And so right now, I have an idea for 3 new courses. And
Okay.
I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to go with the energy that is filling up my wings right now. I'm not going to launch them all simultaneously necessarily, but like maybe I create these two courses in tandem, and one of them is a bonus for the other one. And then down the road, I launch the one that was the bonus.
Sure.
And you know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
I think just really giving
So many
ourselves
possibilities.
permission.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to continually be looking at different strategies, and ultimately you have to do what works for you. And like I said, the first 2 years of my business, I was selling a $5,000 course that I didn't feel good about.
Right.
Even though I gave and gave and gave.
Right. It wasn't about the
I didn't,
value.
but to me it was, because I didn't feel good about it. So it just wasn't in alignment. So one of my favorite books, okay, my favorite business coach ever is Gina Onativia, number one. And my favorite business book is Chillpreneur by Denise Duffield Thomas.
Ah, okay. Well,
She gives
list it
so
in the
much
show
good
notes.
advice. She gives so much good advice, but she's like, you have to find the business model that works for you and your personality and what you offer. Because as a health practitioner, so many things that are in the business realm, like the woman who was like, it's so easy, you could make $1 million in 7 months. She's a business coach teaching people how to make $1 million in 7 months. She is going to have people who want that badly enough that they will pay a high price to get it. It's not the same in every other industry. And so you've got to figure out how to make your industry work for you and what you're good at giving.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think you're right. You have to do what's right for you. But I also go back to what you were saying before. You're seeing a demand. If people are asking you, where's your course? Where's this program? It is a disservice if you do not put it out there.
Yeah, like even in my Facebook group that I'm like, God, these people love recipes. I'm going to do a cooking class every month that they have to pay for to come to. Like $10 or something or whatever. I mean, if you can, where you can, listening to your audience and giving them what they want. Even my thing is that it's not necessarily what I feel like doing.
Right.
But after being in business for as long as I have been now, I'm like, no, I'd rather give them what they want and have them buy it.
Damn right.
Than keep doing what I want and like being bummed why didn't they buy it? Like that's not what they wanted.
Right. You got to give them what they want. Yeah, I totally agree. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being on. This has been so fun, Talya. And where can folks learn a little bit more about you? Get these recipes, a mini course, all of it.
Well, the mini course hasn't quite been released yet, but it will be released by the end of this month. But they can go to talyaskitchen.com, TALYAS kitchen.com, soon to be AyurvedaED.com, standing for Ayurveda Every Day, which is the official name of my business. My website just doesn't match it quite yet. But really the best thing for the listeners to do if you want to learn more about Ayurveda or what I have to offer is to get on my email list. So if you go to my website, grab one of my freebies. They're all super awesome.
Yes,
you could even take the dosha quiz. And then you'll kind of be privy to when my website starts actually selling what I have to offer, which is happening by the end of this year. Fingers crossed.
Very soon. Yes. Wonderful. Check it out. Talya knows so much about Ayurveda. You have taught me so much that I could pick up. So check it out. Get one of her freebies. Thanks, Talya. Thanks for being on.
Thanks, Gina.
What did you think of Talya? I love how authentic she is. She speaks her mind. She keeps it real. Plus, she's so knowledgeable, not only about her own field of expertise, Ayurveda, but about her potential students as well. Now, if you're a practitioner or expert like Talya, there is likely a demand for an online course for you. Your students want to learn from you in different ways, and an online program is a great way to expand your reach. I'll see you next week. Please rate and review this episode, especially if you're listening on iTunes, and subscribe so you don't miss one course creation tip. Until then, go create, be you and be brilliant, and get it done.